There's a moment during a guided meditation when someone closes their eyes and suddenly sees a scene that feels impossibly familiar. They're standing in a place they've never been, a stone courtyard, a forest path, a room with different walls, and yet their body knows it. Their chest tightens. Tears come without reason. They hear themselves saying, "I've been here before." The therapist's voice asks them to go deeper, and images flood in. Faces they don't recognize but somehow know, clothes from another time, emotions so intense they feel ancient. When they open their eyes, they're back in the present, sitting on a couch in a quiet office. But something has shifted. The fear they came in with, the inexplicable terror of being left alone, the recurring dream of drowning, the strange pull toward a place they've never visited, suddenly has a story attached to it, a story that didn't come from this life. They don't know if it's real, they don't know if it matters, but the feeling is undeniable, something inside them just unlocked. This experience shows up in ways people rarely talk about openly. In relationships, someone meets a new person and feels an instant, overwhelming familiarity. Not attraction, not chemistry, something deeper, like they've known this person forever. They think, "This is crazy," but the feeling doesn't go away. Sometimes the relationship is intense and brief, like it's completing something unfinished. Other times it's painful, filled with patterns that feel older than this lifetime. Betrayal, abandonment, sacrifice. At work, someone has an irrational fear that makes no logical sense. They're terrified of public failure, of being accused of something they didn't do, of authority figures. Therapy helps a little, but the root feels buried somewhere they can't access through regular memory. In family dynamics, someone feels a strange role reversal with a parent or sibling. Like they're the older one, the caretaker, the one who's been through this before. They can't explain it, but the dynamic feels ancient, karmic, like they're working something out that started long before they were born. Alone, they have dreams that repeat, drowning, falling, being chased, losing someone they love. Or they feel drawn to certain time periods, cultures, or places with an intensity that feels like homesickness. They visit a country for the first time and start crying because it feels like returning. On the outside, they keep this quiet. People don't talk about past lives at dinner parties. On the inside, they wonder, is this memory, imagination, or something else? Most of this confusion starts with how we're taught to understand memory and identity. A girl grows up in a culture that says you get one life, one chance, one identity. Everything you are comes from your childhood, your family, your experiences in this body. So when she has a vivid memory of dying in a fire or a flash of being a mother in another time, she dismisses it. "I have an overactive imagination," she tells herself. She learns to ignore the images, the body sensations, the inexplicable knowing. A boy grows up hearing that past lives are either religious nonsense or psychological projection. So when he feels an overwhelming grief, he can't trace to anything in his current life. He thinks he's broken. He doesn't realize that some therapeutic approaches, like past life regression therapy, suggest that these images, real or symbolic, can be doorways to healing unprocessed emotions and patterns. As adults, people live with these experiences in silence. They have flashes, dreams, fears, attractions that feel too old to belong to this life. And they split into two camps. Those who believe past lives are literal reincarnation, and those who think it's all metaphor, confabulation, or the brain making meaning out of random images. But there's a third possibility that both psychology and spirituality point to. It doesn't matter if it's real. What matters is whether engaging with these images helps you heal. This tension between literal and symbolic shows up everywhere once you start looking. At work, someone does a past life regression session and sees themselves as a healer who was punished for their gifts. After the session, they realize they've been hiding their creativity their whole life, terrified of being seen. Whether the vision was a literal past life or a symbolic story their psyche created, the result is the same. They understand their fear now, and they can work with it. In romantic relationships, someone explores a recurring pattern where they're always the one left behind. In regression, they see a lifetime where they were abandoned during war. Real or not, the image gives them language for a wound that therapy alone couldn't touch. They start to see that their clinging in relationships isn't about their current partner. It's about an old terror their nervous system is still holding. In family dynamics, someone regresses and sees themselves as the parent of their current mother. The vision is strange, but it explains the role reversal they've always felt, why they've been taking care of her since childhood, why the dynamic feels upside down. The session doesn't prove reincarnation, but it gives them permission to renegotiate the relationship. Inside, the self-talk shifts. Before, they thought, why am I like this? Why do I have fears that don't match my life? Now they think, maybe this fear isn't from this life. Maybe I'm carrying something older. And whether that's metaphor or memory, it creates space. It stops the self-blame. The why do I keep doing this moment becomes less about pathology and more about mystery. Why do I feel ancient grief when I've had a relatively happy life? Why does this person feel like someone I've known before? Why does this place feel like home when I've never been here? Past life regression, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, offers one possible answer. Because your psyche is working with stories, images, and patterns that go deeper than your conscious memory. But here's the shift. Past life regression isn't about proving reincarnation. It's about accessing material the conscious mind can't reach through normal talk therapy. Some psychologists use it as a tool, not because they believe in literal past lives, but because the hypnotic state allows the unconscious to speak in images and metaphors. When someone regresses and sees themselves in another time, what they're seeing might be a symbolic representation of trauma, ancestral memory, or unprocessed emotion. Or it might be something more. The point isn't to prove which. The point is, does it help? If seeing yourself as a soldier who died in battle helps you understand your hypervigilance, does it matter if it's literally true? If imagining a life where you were silenced helps you reclaim your voice now, does the metaphor need to be historical fact to be healing? Past life regression sits in that liminal space where psychology and spirituality overlap. It's not about blind belief or rigid skepticism. It's about using whatever images and stories your psyche offers to move closer to wholeness. And for many people, those images feel too specific, too visceral, too emotionally accurate to dismiss as pure imagination. So how do you actually work with this, whether you believe in past lives or not? Here are practical steps. Notice patterns that feel older than this life. The first practice is simple awareness. Pay attention to fears, attractions, or patterns that feel disproportionate to your current life experience. Maybe you have a terror of water, but you've never nearly drowned. Maybe you're drawn to a specific historical period with an intensity that feels like longing. Maybe you meet someone and feel instant recognition or revulsion that's too strong for a first meeting. Write these down, not to prove anything, but to see what your psyche is trying to show you. A woman notices she's terrified of small spaces, but nothing in her childhood explains it. She writes it down. Later, in a regression session, she sees an image of being trapped underground. Real past life or symbolic representation of feeling trapped in her current life. She doesn't know, but the image helps her understand the claustrophobia, and she starts working with it differently. The difficulty here is the rational mind's resistance. This is silly, I'm making it up. To move through it, remind yourself the psyche speaks in symbols. Let it speak. You can analyze later. Try a guided past life regression session. If you're curious, work with a trained regression therapist or use a reputable guided meditation. You're not trying to prove reincarnation. You're creating a safe space for your unconscious to communicate through images and story. During the session, you might see vivid scenes, or you might just get feelings, colors, fragments. Don't force it. Let whatever comes, come. A man does a session because he's always felt guilty for no reason. In the regression, he sees himself as someone who made a choice that hurt others. When he comes out of the session, he doesn't know if it was a past life or his psyche's way of showing him inherited shame, but he feels lighter. The guilt has a shape now. He can work with it. The difficulty is skepticism interrupting the process. To move through it, Go in with curiosity, not belief. You're exploring, not converting. Ask what the past life story is trying to teach you. Whether the images are literal memories or symbolic metaphors, they carry information. After a regression or a vivid dream that feels past life related, ask, what is this story showing me about my current life? What pattern am I repeating? What fear am I carrying? What gift am I suppressing? A woman regresses and sees herself as a woman accused of witchcraft, silenced and punished for her intuition. She doesn't know if it's real, but she realizes she's been hiding her intuitive abilities her whole life, afraid of judgment. The session becomes a mirror. Whether it's a past life or a metaphor, it's showing her what needs healing now. The difficulty is getting too literal. To move through it, focus on the feeling, not the facts. What does the story want you to know? Work with the emotional charge, not the story. Sometimes people get attached to the drama of a past life story. I was a queen, I was murdered, I was famous, and miss the healing. The practice is to focus on the emotional charge underneath the story. If you regress and feel abandonment, betrayal, or grief, work with that emotion in the present. Journal about it. Do somatic work to release it from your body. Talk to a therapist about it. A man sees himself dying alone in a past life. The story is vivid, but instead of getting lost in the details, he asks, where do I feel this loneliness now? He realizes he isolates himself in relationships, expecting to be left. The regression didn't give him a past life. It gave him a doorway to a current wound. The difficulty is the ego wanting a grand story. To move through it, remember, healing is in the feeling, not the narrative. Explore ancestral and collective memory. Sometimes what feels like a past life might be ancestral memory, stories, traumas, and patterns passed down through your family line. Or it might be tapping into collective memory, archetypes, historical events, shared human experiences. The practice is to research your family history. Ask elders about patterns, traumas, migrations, losses. See if what you remembered in regression aligns with ancestral experience. A woman regresses and sees herself fleeing a war-torn country. Later, she learns her great-grandmother fled a similar situation. Was it reincarnation or inherited memory? She doesn't need to know. Understanding the ancestral connection helps her make sense of her anxiety. The difficulty is the need for proof. To move through it, let it be mysterious. Healing doesn't require certainty. Use the material to renegotiate current relationships. Sometimes past life regression reveals relational patterns, who you were to someone in another life. Whether it's literal or symbolic, you can use this to understand and shift current dynamics. If you regress and see yourself as the parent of your current child, maybe that explains the deep knowing you feel with them. If you see yourself in a painful dynamic with your partner, maybe it's a pattern you're here to complete or release. A couple does a session together. They both see a lifetime where they were torn apart by external forces. Real or imagined, it helps them understand why they cling so tightly now, why separation feels life-threatening. They use the insight to create healthier space in the relationship. The difficulty is blaming the past for the present. To move through it, use the insight as a starting point, not an excuse. You're here now. What do you choose? Stay grounded and integrate. Slowly, regression can bring up intense emotions, images, and memories, real or symbolic. The practice is to integrate slowly. After a session, journal. Talk to someone you trust. Move your body. Don't make big life decisions based on one vision. Let the material settle. A woman has a powerful session where she sees herself as a healer in another time. She wants to quit her job immediately and become a full-time energy worker. But she pauses. She lets the vision sit. Over months, she realizes the message isn't quit your job. It's stop hiding your gifts. She starts integrating healing work into her life gradually. The difficulty is spiritual bypassing, using past life stories to avoid present life responsibility. To move through it, stay in the body, stay in the now, and let the insights inform action, not replace it. Over time, whether you believe in past lives or not, This work changes how you relate to yourself. You stop thinking you're broken for having fears or patterns you can't explain. You start to see yourself as layered, carrying not just this life story, but possibly ancestral, collective, or symbolic material that's asking to be seen and integrated. Relationships shift. You stop taking everything personally. You start to see that some dynamics feel ancient because maybe they are, either literally or as archetypal patterns playing out through you. You feel less alone. At work and in the world, you move with more compassion for yourself and others. Everyone's carrying something. Some of it's from childhood, some of it might be from further back. You don't need to prove it. You just need to hold it with care. Internally, you feel more spacious. The rigid story of "I am only this life, this body, this timeline" softens. You start to sense that you're part of something larger, older, more mysterious. And that sense, whether it's spiritual truth or psychological metaphor, brings peace. Return to that moment in the therapist's office, eyes closed, seeing a place you've never been but somehow know. You don't need to prove it was a past life. You don't need to convince anyone. What matters is that the image gave you access to something your conscious mind couldn't reach. A fear, a gift, a pattern, a knowing. And in that access, there's healing. Past life regression, real or symbolic, is a tool. It's a way to let your psyche speak in the language it knows best. Story, image, emotion. Whether those stories are memories from other lifetimes or metaphors from the depths of your unconscious, they're yours. And engaging with them, with curiosity, not dogma, can open doors that logic alone can't unlock. This is ongoing work. Some sessions will feel profound. Others will feel like nothing. That's okay. You're not trying to collect past lives like trophies. You're trying to understand yourself more deeply, to heal what's been hidden, to live more fully in this life right now. Thank you for being here and staying with us all the way through. If this resonated, consider subscribing for more videos on psychology, spirituality, and personal growth. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had an experience that felt like a past life memory, or do you see it more as symbolic? Share in the comments if you feel comfortable.